Hey everyone, welcome back to Inkplay Quest. My name is Nathan, and today we are drafting Lorcana. This time it's Cube. And here is our pack 1, pick 1. I think it's a pretty easy pick. Beast Tragic Hero is an insanely powerful card. Not used as much in Constructed during the Shimmering Skies meta, at least for the decks that I've seen, but this card's crazy. Draws you likely 1, if not 2 to 3 cards. Quests, once you don't need all the card advantage, can be a challenging threat if it gets damage on it. It's very strong, nice Floodborn synergy. It's a hero if you get hero synergies. The 5-cost slot is just very powerful in Lorcana, so we are going to be happy to take a Beast Tragic Hero, pick 1. Okay, this pick is a little less straightforward. We have a couple interesting characters. We have Bucky. I choose not to play the errata version of Bucky in my cube. I think that the errata version is very weak. This version, I think, is totally fine in a cube environment. Powerful discard enabler. Would actually pair decently with our beast. What else? So we have Dragonfire, which is a flexible removal action. Uninkable is a little bit of a pain, but can deal with anything that's not warded. This Hercules is also just kind of crazy. Bodyguard, resist 1, 6/5, quest for 2. It's a hero. I might be on Hercules, honestly. I have always performed well with this card when I've had it in limited. Yeah. It's between Dragonfire and Hercules. I think I'm going to stick with Hercules for this pick. So let's go there. Other cards that I like here. I mean, King Candy's okay. You get to draw 2 and put 1 of those on the bottom. Let's take Hercules. Okay, so like I said last video, I really like the 1-cost Pluto. It gets you to your big stuff earlier. 4 to 6 drops in Lorcana are very strong. Getting them out and turn early is really good. Other cards to consider. This Nani's okay. A big body. Quest for 2. Bodyguard is kind of nice. This Donald Duck, I like the idea of it. I don't think it's the most powerful card in the cube. Develop your brain, good card selection, but I don't think I'm going to take that this early. Let's just stick with Pluto. Get him out onto our team early. Okay, so some interesting options here as well. Finders Keepers, like I said, last video is a nice, just consistent draw option. I like this Archimedes. So Shift 3, Evasive and Challenger +3, so challenges as a 4/4, and it's evasive, quest for 2. We could shift onto the smaller Archimedes, or Morph, has nice Floodborn synergies. This Scar is also kind of interesting, another draw engine whenever your character challenges a damaged character. With Ward, so you don't really have to quest or do anything with the Scar, you kind of leave him there and have him be your draw engine. I am going to take Archimedes, though. Alright, so some nice, smaller cards in this pack. Good to start filling in our 2 and 3 drops. I'm probably going to take Kuzco here. So Kuzco, when it's banished, you may draw a card. Not just banished in a challenge, but when it's banished at all. So, sort of replaces itself whenever it goes away. Nice 2-cost. If you can pump it up and take out one of their things with your Kuzco, and Kuzco gets banished, you sort of have the card advantage there. Totally fine, inkable, flexible, small character. I like this Gunther, I don't actually know how he's pronounced in whatever movie he's from. I think maybe Raya in The Last Dragon. But requires your opponent to return one of their characters to their hand whenever he's challenged and banished. Sort of a tempo swing in your favor. But let's take Kuzco, start filling in our 2 drops. Okay, we're not going to take Naveen again. We are going to pass on Naveen. And maybe if we end up with another strong song, we can take him again. Okay, so Doc. I like Doc. We can get Beast Tragic Hero out on turn 4. That's very strong. I also really like Invited to the Ball in a very character-heavy deck. So imagine our deck is 39 characters and Invited to the Ball. This will always be a draw 2 when you play it. Obviously, the more non-characters you add, the less consistent it gets. But hey, 2 mana draw 2 is good in Magic the Gathering. They almost all have downsides. In fact, they all have downsides. So in Lorcana, this is also just a pretty strong card if you have the right deck to support it. But, I mean, come on. If we get Beast Tragic Hero out on turn 4, that is just a beating. So we'll take Doc here. Maybe hope that we see Invited to the Ball. We're actually not going to see this pack again, so never mind. We are going to pass on Invited to the Ball and take Doc. Okay, so this is an interesting pack. Not a lot of powerful stuff in this pack, but there are a few interesting cards. So RLS Legacy is a powerful location, but uninkable, and it's best when you have Jim Hawkins to get it out early. This James is kind of interesting. It's a bummer that he's uninkable. I think he probably would be totally reasonable if this was inkable, but I think I'm going to take Eye of the Fates here. So I think the way you should see Eye of the Fates is it is just tap gain a lore. You are going to always use this if you have a character to quest with it, and 4 ink tap gain a lore is, it's kind of like Sorcerer's Spellbook, but then it starts becoming more ink efficient as you use it more than once. So I am going to take Eye of the Fates here. I think it is, good for 3 to 4 lore in a game, and then that should put you over the top in a close match. Okay, a couple decently powerful 2-drops here. So we have this Jafar Royal Vizier 3/2, gains evasive on your turn, so it can deal with opposing Diablos, opposing things like the 3-cost mini. And then this 2/2 support, Mirabelle is fine too. I think support is a fine keyword for Cube Draft. I'm not really interested in the other cards right now. So let's take Jafar Royal Vizier and be happy we have some evasive hate. And for whatever reason, Jafar always ends up in a 3-cost spot when I draft them. So whatever, we will move on. This was our first pack. We have Muses and we have Duck here that I think are worth considering. This 2-drop Queen of Hearts is okay, but you kind of have to have damage on your opponent's characters. It's still 2 quests for 2 and maybe deals 1 damage. I think Daisy Duck is probably stronger, even though I'm not super high on Daisy Duck in limited. Muses, you kind of need some songs to make her good, to make them good. I'll take Daisy. Why not? All right, here. Nice. Okay, so Bucky Wield. This Jafar is good too, as a sort of bulky quester, 5 willpower, and then it gets stronger as you have more cards in hand, which hopefully we will have a lot of cards in hand with our Beast Tragic Hero. But let's take Bucky, get some more Floodborns, and then maybe lean into the Floodborn discard thing. Maybe we can even get Blue Fairy and just have a Floodborn deck. So let's take Bucky here. Okay, of these, all right, so Bibbidi is really interesting when you have a card like Merlin Rabbit or Merlin Goat. Even more interesting if you have Ursula Deceiver of All. So with an Ursula Deceiver of All, a Bibbidi, and one of the 4-drop Merlins, you basically get 5 activations of that Merlin's effect. So I think that is insanely strong. I already have a couple good 1-drops. I don't know that Felicia is doing much for us here. So let's take Bibbidi and speculate to see if we can get one of those Merlins. Okay, Befuddle is also totally fine. Let's actually put Befuddle in our deck for now. All right, wow, another just absolute crazy pick one here. Rapunzel is another top 5 card in Lorcana. So Rapunzel, the obvious upside case is that you get to remove 3 damage and draw 3 cards with Rapunzel. So this is Ancestral Recall on a body. It really makes your turn 4 play powerful because you can challenge in with a 3-cost, do a lot of damage to their character, heal your guy, and then you've drawn 3. You've maybe taken out their character. I mean, I don't necessarily need to wax poetic about how good Rapunzel Gifted with Healing is. It's been one of the most expensive cards since Lorcana came out, and it has been one of the most powerful. So let's take Rapunzel and not Blink. Some other really good cards in this pack, but we'll hope at least one of them comes back, like Maximus or Rafiki or something. All right, and we actually have a great... Oh, man, we have a couple good follow-ups here, but I think the correct answer is to take Beast Wounded here. So we just took the best healing payoff card in the cube. So Rapunzel, obviously you get to draw 3 if you get to remove 3 damage, and Beast comes in with more than 3 damage. So this is just turn 3 Beast into turn 4 Rapunzel, draw 3. That's the dream. It doesn't need to live a bunch of turns like if you have a turn 2 Gothel or a turn 1 Mulan. So let's take the Beast. Mim Snake is obviously very good. Really synergizes with the Merlin bounce package. Like Snake, Goat, Snake is sort of the joke, right? To get to 20 lore in an uninteractable way in Constructed. But we'll hope Snake comes back. We're going to take Beast Wounded here. Okay, this pack... Last draft, I did not take Fishbone Quill when I had an opportunity to. I had Diablo, the 1-cost Diablo and Fishbone Quill, and I talked to some of my buddies in a Cube Discord server, and they all thought I was crazy for taking Diablo 1. Fishbone Quill is obviously a very strong card. We have some other very strong cards in this pack, like Scar, Vicious Cheater. This should be seen as like a one-sided board wipe, so like a one-sided be prepared if you can set it up right. And also, if this gets a bunch of damage on it, you can heal it up with Rapunzel and draw a bunch of cards. Very strong. Merlin Crab, always a good play. Imagine Crab on turn 3, buff your Kuzco, take out their thing. Kuzco dies, you draw a card. Ratigan is a 4-cost evasive. Questing for 2's also pretty good, but let's take Scar. Scar is just powerful. It's, there's not many effects like Scar's effect of challenging several characters. We are really good on Unankables right now. We only have 2, and he is a powerful card, so let's take Scar. Oh man, I wish we had oh wait, never mind, we did take the Bibbidi. I think maybe we take Deceiver of All here. So there's some good cards here, like Elsa Stormchaser I think is quite good. She enables a lot of shenanigans on turn 4 if she gives your 4-cost Rush and Challenger +2. But Deceiver of All gives us access to this Bibbidi. I mean, you could set up some insane stuff if you have a lot of damaged characters, and then you Bibbidi your Rapunzel, and draw like 12 cards. I don't think that's that easy to set up, but we'll take Deceiver of All and hope to get like Friends on the Other Side, Storm Rage on, another really powerful 3-cost song for her to sing. She's also just, we have the Shift Ursula in the cube, so there's other upsides to having her, and we're not really missing out on that much. Lantern, getting out some of our big stuff early is good, but we already have a couple accelerant pieces, so let's take Deceiver of All. Okay, here's some other interesting things to consider. We're putting Bibbidi in the cube, by the way, or in our deck. Some other things to consider in this pack. So, You're Welcome is just an extremely flexible removal song with the pretty significant downside of giving your opponent 2 cards. Now, if it is like the turn that you would lose the game, that is worth the upside. You can also banish your own stuff and draw 2 cards. Like, say you can banish your Merlin Rabbit and draw 3. I think it's pretty good. We currently don't have an early singer. Deceiver of All can't use the double singing on Your Welcome, so I think I'm going to pass on Your Welcome, and I think I'm going to take Tinkerbell Generous Fairy. She lets you look at the top 4 of your deck and choose a character from those and put it in your hand, so this is kind of like a slightly more powerful in some ways 4-cost Grammatala. She's uninkable, but like I said earlier, our uninkable count is pretty good. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. But yeah, card advantage is just good in cube, so we'll take the 4-cost Tinkerbell here. Okay, so I waxed poetic about having this Pete as sort of a safety net against powerful actions in the last one. Probably going to take Pete again here. I don't really see what... I mean, this Chifu is like a 1 burst quest for 3, and then it gets damaged. It's fine. Ariel could be interesting if we had more songs, but you really have to have a critical mass of songs for her to not feel bad about putting her in your deck and then missing. Robin Hood kind of the same way. I mean, he looks at top 4, plays an action of 6 or less for free, and then put the rest in discard. A new card from Shimmering Skies. We don't have enough critical mass of actions or songs right now for me to want either of these. Let's just take Pete again. Okay, here I think it's going to be Talisman. Like I said, I like these card draw combat items. Talisman, Medallion Weights, and Hook's Rapier. In our deck, Talisman is pretty good with Kuzco and Jafar. These are probably our like early challenging threats we would do on turn 3. Play a Talisman on turn 3 and then crash one of these into their character and draw a card for Jafar and 2 cards for Kuzco. Yeah, I think Talisman's probably the pick here. Okay. Some interesting choices here because we have another song that's quite good with Ursula, Deceiver of All. Just a really nasty tempo play on turn 4. Bounce their 2 best things, or their 2 most expensive things, and then they have to, they've wasted all that ink. Bee King Undisputed, just a pretty powerful Edict sacrifice effect. And then Pinocchio, Talkative Puppet, to exert one of their things so that they can be dealt with. I think we have Deceiver of All. Let's play into her a little bit, and let's take Mother Knows Best. If we can get maybe like one more good 3-cost song, I'll feel pretty good about having her in the deck. Okay. We have Kita as a totally fine Goons, 1-cost 2/2 vanilla quest for 1. This Yzma is okay, but it's cost 4 and it's uninkable. And now maybe we take the inkable card to not get totally overwhelmed by uninkables. Snuggly Duckling is kind of cute, but you really want like imagine you have Maui and Snuggly Duckling, that starts getting a lot better. I guess Scar. Let's see. Whenever a character with 6 or more challenges another character while here, gain 3 lore if it has 6 power. So really, Scar, I guess, could gain you like 9 lore if you challenge him with Snuggly Duckling. That's kind of cool. Requires like 9 ink to get Scar down and into the Snuggly Duckling, but I think that's a little too cute. Let's take Kita. Okay, Vision of the Future is probably worth it at this point. You look at top 5, you take the best one. I think in a deck that wants us to like find a good song for Ursula, Deceiver of All, or find our Beast Tragic Hero or Scar early on, I think Vision of the Future is totally fine. We're starting to get a lot of non-characters, so we want to be careful about that. Although, we don't have any cards in our deck right now that we outright want to cut, so I think we're doing okay. Let's take Vision of the Future here. Okay, all right, neither of these are going to go in our deck. Let's take Dinglehopper. And then Thebes, whenever a character banishes another character in a challenge, gain 2 lore. Okay, Put Scar in here for 8 ink. Banish 3 characters, gain 6 lore. That seems okay. Let's take it and put it in the sideboard, and then if we get a few more like rush characters, we can consider it. I think a lot of these like utility locations are not super good, but I think an interesting thing to do in the early stages of a cube environment is to try some of these build around cards, right? So like Thebes or Snuggly Duckling are not really seen at all in Constructed, but they have an interesting upside when you have basically 600 different cards to build from. So let's take Thebes, put it in the sideboard, and think about it a little bit. Okay, pack 3. Oh man, we have just been getting rewarded in these pick ones. So Maui is another card that I think is just like top 10 in all of Lorcana. They just like way overstated this card for what it is, even though it's a first chapter card. It came out in the first set of Lorcana. 5 cost, 6/5, Inkable, Rush, Reckless. I think the idea here was probably that Reckless is a big downside because it can't quest, but this just almost always is a 2-for-1 that has just so little downside. Because if your opponent's not challenging, you just ink Maui and you just go to whatever your other card is. But Maui's just so strong. I didn't even see Isabella in this pack. Isabella is also just an insane questing threat. Man. So this is sort of the, do we take the old good card or the new good card? I think we still take Maui here. Isabella's probably like top 15, 20-ish cube card. But we do have some things we want to be questing with, right? We have a lot of 2 questers up on our top of our curve. So the downside of Isabella is you can't quest with your other stuff once she starts going. So let's take Maui. Oh, man. Some other cool cards in this pack. Where are we on our curve? So we don't have a ton of 2s. We don't have enough 2s or 3s. So those are kind of the ink costs that we should be centered around. I really like this cycle of vanilla cards from Shimmering Skies. So this is like the 3-cost Moana, the 2-cost Bonsai, the 4-cost Scrooge, and the 5-cost Tanahi. They're just way overstated for what they are. So like this is better stats than Maui and can quest for 2, but it's uninkable and doesn't have rush. I don't think we're going to go in that direction this pick, but maybe we will get like the 3-cost Moana would be great, or the 2-cost Bonsai. I think here maybe we'll take Zeus. Can challenge as a big threat, quest for 2, inkable. I think some of these other cards, like Lilo is fine, but we don't have a bodyguard to protect her. Yeah, we'll take Zeus here. I almost forgot we have Bucky, so maybe try to take some Floodborns when we see them. So, like, yeah, I guess Lilo into Simba would have been good, but kind of no way of knowing that. Here, probably Pegasus. Another 5-cost, 2 questing evasive. And another Floodborn. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3. 3 pretty good Floodborns on turn 5. Yeah, let's take Pegasus here. Inkable. Quest threat. If we get a little Pegasus or we get Morph, this can just kind of be a win button. So we'll take Pegasus here. Alright, another really good 1-cost character here in Chernobog's Followers. Replaces itself when you quest. 2/1 so it can deal with some of the more annoying 2 willpower characters. I think this is just a fine 1-drop. If we get the library, it's really good. And nothing else here really stands out as an extremely powerful alternative. Yeah, we're going to take Chernobog's Followers here. Okay. 3 good picks here. Maybe 4. I think Dolores is really strong. Usually your opponent's going to have a character exerted, so her effect will go off. She costs 4. That fits nicely into our curve. Lumiere and Gustave, I talked a little bit about last time, how these both sort of create awkward, challenging scenarios for your opponent. Lumiere by buffing your team, and Gustave by just this huge 6/6 threat that basically requires your opponent to plan around not getting their stuff banished. Let's take Dolores here, though. It fits into our curve fine. Card draw is always good when we have these insane threats like Maui, Beast Tragic. Here, we're going to take either Argus or Cinderella. I've wanted this LeFou to be good, but I have never gotten its effect to work to any real degree. Oh, you know what? I wonder if Olaf is fine here. It's a Floodborn, 3-cost. So we can go Bucky on 2, Olaf on 3. They discard. Go like Olaf into a 5. Okay, maybe Olaf is the pick here. Neither Argus nor Cinderella are like hugely powerful. I don't feel bad missing out on them. Cinderella's card filtering ability is decent. But having a Floodborn to maybe proc our Bucky seems okay. And yeah, let's take Olaf. All right, this clock, this Cogsworth is quite good. One cost gives any character rush when it comes into play, including itself. You know what's kind of fun is, well, no, Bibbidi. I mean, you bounce it, it gives a second thing rush, but you need to have multiple characters then. So I guess the joke with this is it's kind of like the one cost action that gives something rush, but it sticks around. So you can play like it in a thing, give the other thing rush, or play it, give itself rush, and then it can take out, whatever their one cost annoying quester is. So let's take Cogsworth. You Have Forgotten Me, also quite good, just card disadvantage for your opponent, but we'll take Cogsworth here. And man, okay. Cove is just so strong. It's gonna be Cove or it's gonna be Gaston, I guess. Is Inkcaster good? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we still only have 6 on Inkables. We've been pretty well with Inkability. We really need more 2s. Hidden Cove is kind of like a 2 cost because you play it and then you can put something in your 1. In it for 1. So I guess we'll take Cove for now. So Hercules is like Maui at home, right? It challenges, has Rush and Reckless, has 7 power instead of 6, but it has 3 willpower, so it dies much more easily, and it has it's uninkable, so less flexible, and it's also a hero too. So it's like this is almost a downgrade in Maui in every way, except for the 7 power. But really, the only time that 7 is necessary is taking out like Queen's Castle or Genpo, the bodyguard. Let's pass on Hercules. We have Maui. It's way better. We also have Scar. So let's take Christopher Robin here. So I don't know that we'll play him, but kind of an interesting passive lore gain effect. He's big, inkable, 6 cost. Let's take Christopher Robin. Okay, are we going to go in on this Floodborn plan with Bogo? I'm probably not playing either one of these other cards. I don't think we're going to play Bogo. So let's take Nothing to Hide, put it in the sideboard for now. Avalanche could be okay, but we'll put it in the sideboard as well, and then we're not going to play Imperial Proclamation. Okay, last pack. We have a little bit of work to do here. Okay, well, well, we have Maui, so we probably should get Maui's Fish Hook. This is another quite good item that forces weird, challenging choices. I think... So the only 2 cost character in this pack is Ursula. And while we want more 2s, I don't think she's quite worth it. We don't have any 4 cost songs she'd be able to sing any earlier than... Yeah, so let's take the Fish Hook here. Hiram's good, but I don't really want to banish our Sumerian Talisman. Do we take Dime? Lucky Dime is quite the card. You know what else is good, though? Sisu. Another card that doesn't really see a lot of play in Constructed, but man, this, when it quests, you get card advantage and card selection. It quests for 2, it's 2/4. Uninkable, but we have plenty of room for more uninkables. I like Dime. I really do. But we don't have like an insane character that quests for like 4. So let's take Sisu for some more card advantage. Okay. Now we're oh, well. I think the library is just correct here. We have Chernobog's Followers. We have Cogsworth that can give itself rush. We have Kuzco. We have a lot of characters that get value when they're banished. And by a lot, I mean Kuzco. And Chernobog's Followers. But I think Library is just the right pick here. It's so strong. None of these other characters, or none of these other cards are so strong as to dissuade me from taking Library. So let's take it. Let's take the new fun card. Library. Man, we are really running out of time to find some good 2-drops. I think we'll have to take Ursula here. She challenges for 3, like the Prince Eric in Steel. I think she's totally fine. We didn't take Hiram in that first pack, so Popsicle kind of loses some of its luster. I think it's still a fine card. This Aurora is kind of cool too, but we really need 2s. And I don't like Rose Lantern in this kind of deck. Let's take Ursula. Okay, well, a couple options at 2 here. We have Pride Lands, which is kind of fun. We have Kronk, which challenges as a 2/4. Pride Lands, we have a lot of non-characters, but what does Pride Lands give us? We have Princes and Kings. Let's see. We have... Alright, Cusco's a king. Zeus is a king. Beast Tragic is a prince. Hercules is a prince. Maybe it's Pride Lands. I think this Kronk is kind of uninteresting. Pride Lands is fun. We'll take Pride Lands. I'm going to start putting back these cards into their curve piles because I'm really concerned about our curve, and I'll deal with the non-characters soon. Okay, well, I think it has to be Goat. Goat and Bibbidi is insane. You gain 5 lore on turn 4 with it. And we have a lot of 3s, right? If this had like the best 2 if this had like Smee or Snake, then maybe it'd be a little closer. But I think Goat is totally fine here. Let's take Goat. Oh man, this Broom. Well, we have a lot of 3s. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 3s in this pack, plus Goofy. I think Broom is the clear answer here. Broom, Churnabogs, and Library is just insane. Let's take Broom. Okay, well, we have Spellbook, we have Grand Duke. Grand Duke actually, I think, hits a lot of our... hits a lot of things in our deck. Yeah, maybe Grand Duke is the pick here. It's inkable, it's 2 cost, 2/2. Yeah, I'm not... I think we have too many 3s, and I think our game plan is not going super slow and long with Spellbook. We want to draw a lot of cards. Let's take Grand Duke. Okay, so, well, Ursula lets us sing Mother Knows Best and Bibbidi early. Bibbidi you don't really want to sing early. I mean, you could play... What 3 costs do I have that hasn't entered the battlefield ability? None of them. So, Ursula, Hiram... Hiram can banish our Talisman to draw cards. I don't think that's good enough. I think we'll take Ursula here. Okay, well, we're not taking Airfoil. We'll take Felix, put him on the board for now. Here, this, with Ursula, gives 2 of our characters resist +2. And if they're heroes, they can challenge ready characters this turn. So, turn 3, play Ursula, Deceiver of All. Turn 4, double sing One Last Hope. What would this... What can we even... It'd have to be like... we have any heroes down here? I don't even know how this would work. But we're not taking the Queen. I mean, we don't have the right deck for this card to be good. So we'll take One Last Hope and take a look and build their deck. No, this is for like the Bruno combo. We're not taking Merlin's Cottage here. So we're not putting it in our deck. So, okay. Let me... This might just be our build, honestly. It looks a little weird, a little early game heavy, but honestly, with Library and with Broom and Churnabogs, we have a way to sort of turbo through our deck, and we can really get a lot of these characters out early. Let's see, how many Floodborns did we end up getting? We got Olaf, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 4 Floodborns. Man, Bucky might not be worth it. We have 8 2s. A lot of 3s. I mean, I guess it's still a warded. It's still warded, and if we get like 1 or 2 discards off, that's still pretty good. So I think the way that this deck wants to play is like turboing through your deck with these 1-cost banish themselves characters while they're in the library to draw a bunch of cards, get to Beast Tragic or get to Beast Tragic for drawing more cards, or get to like Maui and Scar for dealing with their board and just sort of beat them in card advantage Card advantage plus removal is sort of a tried and true strategy. I think this was sort of an interesting draft. Didn't quite go the way I thought it would go once we got Bucky and a few Floodborns, but I think we took a bunch of good cards. Let's import this into Dreamborn and see what it looks like. Okay, here is my deck. Let me turn on this view. Okay, so it didn't quite go how I thought it would go once we took Beast Tragic Hero and Bucky. I thought we were going to have more of a Floodborn build-around deck, but we have a couple interesting through lines in this deck. We have this really tight library Chernobog's Magic Broom package, very cheap, turbos us through a lot of cards. We have Ursula, Deceiver of All, and a couple of interesting 3-cost songs. We have this like ringer of 4 and 5 cost characters: Rapunzel, Maui, Beast Tragic Hero, Merlin Goat. So I think this deck is quite strong. It's doing a few things, maybe not any one of them as well as it could, but it's I think maybe the main through line is we're going to draw a lot of cards with this deck, which can get us to some of our answers like Maui or Mother Knows Best. So let me know what you think about the deck, how you think the draft went, what you would have done differently. And as always, let me know if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.